Yeah, tomorrow at 6 o'clock GMT. So keep an eye out for that. Wow, this looks... What the f... What's that? Jesus Christ, I absolutely myself. What is the best game in VR? Half-Life Alyx? Stormlands? Star Wars Squadrons? Gran Turismo 7? For me, personally, it's Lone Echo on the original Oculus Rift CV1. The scope of the story, the still to this day incredible graphics, but most of all the relationship between Jack and Liv. That moment when the alien ship warps into view still makes the hair on the back of my neck stand up. But we may have a new king of the VR hill with the release of the VR mode for Sony PlayStation's 2023 Resident Evil 4 remake. I've been playing non-stop to bring you my opinion on what could possibly be my game of the year, or maybe even my favourite ever VR game. What do you think? Roll new titles. Apologies that this review is so late. I wanted to play the game for a good amount of time before giving my opinion. I've played 15 hours up to now, and I think I've got a good feel for it. Also, before we get into the nitty-gritty of my review though, here is a bit of history for the game and my experience of it over nearly 20 years since Resident Evil 4 first released. I played the original on Nintendo's GameCube back in 2005 and was blown away. This new iteration of the beloved franchise ditched the fixed camera view for an over-the-shoulder perspective and got rid of the clunky controls to focus on a more action-oriented survival horror experience. It was a revelation and quickly garnered rave reviews, with the notoriously harsh UK gaming magazine Edge giving it 10 out of 10 and saying this about it. Resident Evil 4 created the modern third-person shooter, killed the survival horror genre, and became the benchmark by which all video game campaigns are measured, and all, bar a few, come up short. Which is high praise indeed, but can a nearly 20-year-old game that has been ported to so many other platforms really stand up in the modern era, especially in the high-stakes VR market? The Resident Evil 4 remake for PlayStation 5 released in March 2023 and is from the ground up reimagining of the 2005 classic with cutting-edge graphics and refined, modernised controls. The newly released VR mode brings all of this into the perspective of virtual reality, and the result is nothing short of stunning, but we will get to that shortly. So, just in case you've been living under a rock for the past 20 years, Resident Evil 4 is the story of Leon S. Kennedy, a special agent working directly for the president. He is sent to a secluded European village to find Ashley, the president's daughter, who has been kidnapped by an eerie cult. Cue mayhem as Leon is assaulted by waves of Ganados, creepy cult members, and huge monsters as he fights back with a varied and interesting arsenal of weapons and explosives. As far as Resident Evil and VR games go, I have played Quest 2's port and more recently Resident Evil Village VR mode on PSVR2, so I knew what to expect. Well, I thought I knew what to expect anyway. As with all my reviews, I want to talk about the graphics, sound and gameplay, followed by my Niggles and Giggles section, what I didn't like and what I did like about the game. Ready? Let's go. Graphics first, and this game is just jaw-dropping, and I mean that in a literal sense. Whereas the Resident Evil 4 port to Quest 2 was a rejigged for VR direct port of the original game, the cutting-edge graphics of the remake have made a full appearance here with no compromises. The results are stunning. From the opening scene in the Ganado village through the forest to the stunning castle of the villainous Salazar, it is all rendered in incredible detail. The numerous and varied enemies you face are gorgeous in their grotesque, disfigured state. The fight with Il Gigante, the quarry, is exceptional in VR as he is rendered in incredible fidelity and his size cannot be fully appreciated on a flat screen. Your guns look realistic, are scuffed as if well used with excellent reload animations and bloody, gory results when firing. The lighting across the board is outstanding. Light and shadows move realistically with you as you travel through the staggeringly beautiful scenes. One outstanding confrontation sees you battling fully armoured knights in a poorly lit library. Your flashlight shining off the polished armour is staggering, and due to a gameplay foible, you can get really close to look at them with their maniacally swivelling blood-soaked eyeballs. Resident Evil Village on PSVR2 was heavily criticised for distracting reprojection and a mirror-like effect caused by a coating on the Fresnel lenses. Resident Evil 4 still has these two problems, but for me it was barely noticeable, except in extremely dark areas or when slowly moving your head from side to side. I think the more frenetic pace of the game almost negates this issue, and after playing for a few minutes, I wouldn't notice it anymore. Old favourite Ada Wong makes a brief appearance in the game, and she's never looked better. I'm going to say it now, and I'll be on the internet then forever. I think this is the best looking game in VR on any platform. Half-Life Alyx, Red Matter 2 and Lone Echo all have amazing graphics, but Resident Evil 4's VR mode on PSVR2 just eclipses them all. Please bear in mind that what you are seeing has been recorded either in a live stream or using an Elgato capture card and recorded on OBS. You cannot appreciate how stunning Resident Evil 4 is unless you plonk a PSVR2 on your noggin. Trust me. Here's a quick tip to increase your enjoyment. In a dark area, you can detach the torch from your head by grabbing your face and then holding it in your hand. Plus, you can switch your grasp by pulling the trigger of whichever hand you have the torch in. Moving on to the audio. The VR mode incorporates the flat screen's excellent 3D audio, so the sound of your knife slicing through flesh is a morbid, disturbing, but amazing oral pleasure. Stabbing a Ganado in the eye or slashing away at Il Gigante's flailing parasite is an audible joy, an ode to violence writ large in gouts of blood. Sorry, I went all Edgar Allan Poe myself there. The guns sound meaty with a distinct difference from the booming shotgun, the metallic sniper rifle to the twang of the bolt thrower and the snap-snap of your ever-reliable pistol. The ambient sounds are incredibly well done too, from thudding armoured footsteps on a marble floor, muttering unintelligible Ganados, chanting occultists, to the gentle patter of raindrops. It's almost worth just stopping, staring at the unbelievable vistas, listening to the howling wind and the distant cawing of jet black crows. Almost. The background music is muted until you encounter enemies, then will rise in line with the amount of peril you are in. Facing off against some occultists. Subtle. Facing down a giant crocodile in a flimsy wooden boat. Tumultuous. All the character dialogue has also undergone a revamp, so it is less cheesy than, say, Resident Evil 4 and Quest 2. Except for Roman Salazar. He's supposed to be cheesier than a chunk of cheddar eating Cheetos. So, moving on to the gameplay. This is where Resident Evil 4 really starts to shine, as not only has it had a graphical overhaul, but the gameplay and controls have been updated and, how do I put it, unclunked. Resident Evil has always been known for its very clunky, outdated interface, but the remade VR mode has pared down the experience. It is now pretty slick. Organising your attaché case is a simple button press. Crafting items can be done from the craft window or just straight from the case. Even just organising where your weapons are stored is literally grab it, place it on the corresponding slot on your actual bodies. Enemies are numerous, diverse and very aggressive. One of my favourite confrontations was with a blind monster in a torture chamber, terrifying, thrilling and tense all at once as you try to creep around to get into a favourable position to strike without making any noise. Reloads are slick and, with practice, fast enemy melee attacks can be blocked with a well-timed knife slash, opening them up to a counterattack. Explosives will quite literally obliterate your opponents with body parts flying in all directions, which is very satisfying. Ashley can be controlled by holding down both triggers and executing simple commands. Stay close if avoiding enemies, or stay back if in the middle of a firefight. Leon will even shout, "You're in my way," if she inadvertently creeps into his gun sights during the hectic confrontations that are liberally smothered throughout the game. The puzzles are interesting and at times mind-bending. The map is also extremely well done, as you can zoom in, zoom out, as well as scroll around by grabbing with your grip button and scooting it back and forth. The action is relentless, especially as the game builds to its inevitable thrilling climax, and the campaign is lengthy and fully fleshed out. This includes a frankly thrilling minecart ride where you just actually lean left and right to keep on track while maniacally shooting at Ganados to protect your compatriot Louis Serra, perfectly suited for VR's physicality. All 16 chapters are included in the VR mode, though currently the Ada Wong based DLC and the fan favourite Mercenaries are not included, though may be coming later. The game has stuck to its 2005 action-oriented roots, but has brought the gameplay and controls bang up to 2023 standards. Time for my niggles then, the things I didn't like. When you're running, Ashley huffs and puffs behind you constantly, like she's rubbing one out. They did it so that you can get an audio cue that she's still there, but it is very distracting and not in a pleasant way. Some of the animations, stabbing a downed enemy in the back for example, cut to a third person for the animation. This is jarring and unnecessary. Just let me physically stab them like I can do in Walking Dead Saints and Sinners or the excellent assassinations in Assassin's Creed Nexus. You must press a button to climb a ladder, scramble onto a ledge, or jump down from a height. A small niggle, I know, but still immersion breaking. There is little to no interaction with any of the sumptuously modelled items in the environments, bar essential items like health, ammo, and puzzle pieces. Being able to mess with everything, Half-Life Alyx style, would have been great, but maybe this was a performance issue, or they were sticking to the core mechanics of the franchise. Giggles then, the things I really liked about the game. Now, I have admitted on several occasions on my channel that I'm a complete and utter graphics tart. Nothing makes me happier than glorious visuals and pretty vistas, and make no bones about it, this is one of the best, if not the best looking game currently in VR. It's nothing short of sensational, even outstripping the also very pretty Resident Evil Village. The campaign is long and varied and stuffed to the absolute max with epic set pieces and hundreds of dangerous enemy encounters. I've been playing for over 15 hours now and I'm currently on chapter 12 of 16. The gameplay has been brought up to 2023 AAA standards. It's slick and polished to the nth degree. There are a ton of collectibles and little side missions, and you know me, collectible. They dropped the price on the official Sony store by a whopping 50% just before the VR mode launched, making this serious value for money. If they reinstate the official price of £55 in the UK, then go and buy the physical copy. It's currently only £35, which is still serious value. Before I get to my conclusion, please hit the like button. The algorithm loves the likes. Please also consider subscribing and joining my channel membership for exclusive badges, emojis, and giveaways on my private members-only Discord. Thanks. The conclusion. Resident Evil 4 VR mode takes a 10 out of 10 game and cranks it up to 11. If you own a PSVR2, then it is an essential purchase. If you own a PS5, then this is a good reason to consider investing, along with the also excellent Resident Evil Village, Synapse, and Gran Turismo's super slick 7th outing. If you don't own either, then you are quite simply missing out on not just one of the greatest VR games of all time, but one of the greatest games of all times. It is seriously that good. But, as always, what do you think? Have you played Resident Evil 4 on any of the other 10 platforms it's been released on? Do you have a PSVR 2 and not played it yet? Or are you not a fan of the franchise and will be giving it a wide berth? You know the drill. Get involved and comment down below. I'll leave you with this hilarious outtake for one of my live streams, so enjoy, and I'll see you on the other side. Woo! Strip a clip. Oh, this is amazing! This is amazing! Oh! Go. Oh, I better have to give him this back.
That's it? Afraid not. Things are just getting started.
Oh, that was awesome! I want to do that again. I want to do that again.